All right, folks, good morning. We'll be here from the Blacksmith Podcast. Y'all know what time it is. It's Saturday, and we're going to get on our financial topics right away. All right, so this week I struggled. I was trying to find something to talk about, and I was like, there's a couple of the couple of things we could rehash because we have actually a bunch of new people. Um, and some of them are more seasoned investors, and some of them are not. Some of them are beginners. So that's why it's important to use that investing link and let us know what you don't know so we can get you taught what you do know. Now, I'm going to apologize this week. We do not have the options class this week. Um, Learning how to do this. I'm trying to get the resident subject matter expert, the SME. I'm trying to book, but his time is very precious. So when he can do it, he's gonna do it. That's what he said. He didn't say that, but you get what I'm saying. I'm more of a chime in on that kind of guy when it comes to options. I know what I'm doing, but can I really break it down to a science? Not to the molecule. And Einstein, the late, the great, the hair. No, I'm just playing. He had more hair than me at an older age. You know what I'm saying? But he said that if you can't explain it very simply, then you don't understand it yourself. And I refuse to and through all of it, right? So we'll get you guys that options class as soon as we can. There are people in Discord that really do understand options. I'm going to try to see if I can bring them all together and we can mic up, even if we don't cam up. But they can if they want to and teach this thing to y'all. All right, because we're all trying to win together. No one's trying to climb that mountain by themselves. Let's see what that stock market do or did. Uh, this week. So if you see my screen here, we went up 10 grand, 12% just in last week. And look, bam, cracked 91K. It's time to get it, as my son would say. So let's see why. Let's see what was really driving the market from my portfolio standpoint, because you may have different stocks in yours. But we're going to go to my MVP, baby. Let's go. Let's see. So this was yesterday. Robinhood cracked 112. Uh-oh. What's at the zenith here at the peak? 113. Robinhood, new 52-week high is $113.44. I'm telling you, telling you, telling you. I wouldn't touch Robinhood right now. From an investing standpoint, from a new investor standpoint, I wouldn't touch Robinhood right now because I don't know when the gains are going to subside. And what I don't want you to do is be left like me holding the bag when the sheriffs come. So, like right here, when Robinhood IPO at $38, right? I bought my first three shares, I think, at $47, and it quickly went up to 55, and then man, it freaking plummeted. So what I had to do, and maybe we'll go over that. I had to do a technique called averaging down. So averaging down is an investing strategy. Oh, well, let's see. Is a trading or investing strategy where the investor buys more shares of a stock they already own, but at a lower price than their initial price. This lowers the average cost per share, potentially increasing profits if stock prices rise. However, it also increases investors' exposure to risk, especially if the stock price continues to fall. So, let's say you bought Robinhood at $47 like me. Well, how would this work? Well, Robinhood fell to $35. If you bought 3 shares there, now you are, let's see, you guys should be able to see my calculator. So 47, let's say times 3 plus 35 times 3. No, what am I doing? Uh, yeah, so you'd have an average of 41. That'd be your price, average of $41 per share. And that's what you would have to do. So, and that's what I did. When Robinhood came all the way down here to like 10, 11, 12, it was like 9. I didn't get any at 7. I should have, but I think I missed June 17th of 22. Oh, because I was deployed. Yeah, everything fell down in 22 to the bottom, the cul-de-sac, as the French would say, the ass of the bag or the bottom of the bag. Um, it fell down. I was a month deployed, a month and a half when this hit. So I might have been in Japan somewhere already. Yeah, a month after deployment, I think we were already in Japan. But so I missed this. But man, I wish I didn't. My portfolio was super down in 2022. So Robinhood, if you follow them all the way here, you could have been averaging down from the 47. So you're going to need it to do something like this. But I believe me, they will not hit these levels again. It's not going to happen, folks. So if you bought stock, and this came from one of the guys in the Discord chat. We get to it over here at Discord. So if you guys didn't know, if you're not a part of the Discord, go ahead and if you have Discord, just look up the Blacksmith Podcast server, right? Just it's the Blacksmith Podcast on everything. IG, Gmail. There's no one, no two, and the Blacksmith Podcast at gmail.com. So IG, Gmail, Threads, TikTok, I mean, you name it. Rumble. I even have a Twitch. I haven't used it much, but it's there. I took the handle on everything. I'm building it while I fly it. I'm kind of an army of one a little bit when it comes to production. I'm an army of one. But obviously, we've got a blacksmith army in this Discord. So let's see what Robinhood did this week. Look, 11%, $10, almost $11. Robinhood was getting it. July 18th, they cracked 112. I think this is a day they cracked 113, though. But yeah, new 52-week high. They are really pushing the envelope. Robinhood is running it up. I'm telling you, it's 25% of my portfolio. I tell no lies. Look, you can see right here, I am invested. Market value 33K, but I'm not looking at that like, oh man. See, I don't have the middle class mindset where I'm like, man, if I cash that out, I could go put 50% down on a Corvette. Money is not, in my opinion, money is not for just buying things, man. And especially something like that that's going to depreciate in value. One wreck could kill all the value you put into it. This is just wild to me. So I don't have a middle class mindset. I like to have the rich mindset that money is for making more money. It's for making money babies, making more money soldiers that can go or employees, right? That can go bring you more employees. The more employees you have, the better, because they can work more, right? More production. Anyway, that's what Robinhood did. Let's see what else. What else was moving the envelope? All right, so Nvidia. Nvidia now sits at 172. Now, if that's not big news to you, I don't know what is, because Nvidia was down for a while. Nvidia over the past week gained 5%, $8. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's 19% of my portfolio. I'm a big believer in Nvidia. Let's see, year to date, they're up 26%, $36. So if you had bought it in January, you'd be up 26%. And then, of course, right here in April, it was down to 50, what is that, $53? So, look, folks, this is not this is not rocket science. All it really is, oh, my speaker turned off. All it really is studying and learning, and you've got to become the hunter, right? Look at it like this: you're a lion, and these stocks are the gazelles, the zebras, the hippopotamus that could potentially be dangerous, right? The giraffes, right? Crocodiles sometimes. That's what they are. They are the prey. And even though a crocodile for a lion would be an unusual prey, it's not as though they don't get got. They get got. Lions get got by them too. So I don't know who the apex one is there. Now I would say on land, the lion definitely has an advantage. If he's by himself, probably won't mess with a croc, especially if he has some size to him. Crocs, they like to swag it on out on land, like, yeah, don't, with their mouth open, hissing. You don't want to mess with them. But in the water, definitely the croc. The croc could take him all day. And so, why do I say this, right? You have to become like the lion. And this is why we have our pride of lions right here in the Discord, right? If you want to become one of us, then you need to join the server. Phone a friend, do something. But we're out here hunting. We are hunting these stocks. And understand like this: the analogy is kind of whatever, but you can understand, if you're going to catch this gazelle, if you're going to catch that zebra, if you're going to catch that giraffe, that whatever that wildebeest, that buffalo, the Cape buffalo, or whatever it is that you're hunting, right? You have to understand it first. No lion just a gazelle just fell out of the sky in his mouth. First of all, that break his teeth probably hurt. But the prey doesn't just fall on you. You have to sit there in the tall grass and look at it. Okay. Candles going up, going down. Okay. 52-week high. Look, I'm going to show you right now. We're going to hunt. Let's hunt NVIDIA right here. Look, we're in the tall grass. I know I'm being silly, but I'm being serious at the same time. Watch this. We're in the tall grass. Okay. A year ago. Okay. So that's a year, 43%. What did it do in the last 5 years? Good God Almighty. NVIDIA's been the highest returning asset all time in the last 5 years, next to Bitcoin. Look at that, 21,000% since it IPO'd. Okay, what did it do in the last week? Because that's the most recent. Okay, it has some major growth right here. All right, we're gonna scroll down. All right, so Jensen, yeah, we know. 36,000 employees, Santa Clara, California, 1993. We know what the stock is about. Okay, that's what the company's about. Okay, let's keep going. They do a lot of GPUs. All right. Market cap 4 trillion. P ratio. Look, it pays a little dividend. Average volume. Okay. We're starting to learn some more. We're starting to stick our head up a little bit. All right. Here's the high. Here's the low. Here's the open price. There's the volume. 52-week high, 52-week low. So now that we know the high and the low, we know what a good price is, right? We know right in between, right? So like if you take, let's see, 174 and subtract 86. Let's get that calculator up here. What is it? 174, 86. $88 difference. So, I mean, I would say probably a good price. A good price at this point. Let me not spitball. Let's see. 174 times 20% minus 174. Oh, man. I fat fingered the button. Okay, so 144. So 20% down, 20% off would be 144. So if you take 174 times 30%, that'd be 52 minus 174. So those would be some really, really great prices to buy in. 144, 121. 121, load the boat. Load the boat on 124. Or 121 right here. Never mind the negative. That'd be my load the boat price, right? I think I got it an average of 113, but I know it's probably not going to go down to 113 anymore. Now, if tariffs are announced again, that would be something to consider. But if you have buying power, right? If you have buying power, which will show you right here, we use Robinhood over here. I've used Webull. I've used Ameritrade, TD Ameritrade. I love Robinhood. That's just me. You may use something else, but if you have buying power, you're in the grass. You're just waiting for it to slip up, trip up, look sick, look weak, have a limp, have a hop, have something. You're waiting for its energy levels to go down because it hasn't had enough water. You're waiting for Jensen to say something stupid or the president to say something dumb or a product to. You don't want a product to not hit, or you're waiting on news of a split or something like that, and that's when you jump out and pounce. But if it's not the right time, what's going to happen is you're going to run out there after that zebra and get hind kicked. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt for a while. All right, let's see what Palantir did. This is the financial show, folks. I'm going to try and do more during the week, but man, I put on Senior Chief in May and it has been busy. I have a division that I'm in charge of, and now I'm moving into taking charge of a department as well. So it's a lot of sailors. It's a lot of issues. It's a lot. So I'm gonna get there. But I tell you what, though, I might not have made anything recently. I might not have been on my game recently, but if you go to that YouTube channel, I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to click that. If you go to that YouTube channel, let me show you what you will find. Here we go. I'm not going to take my wife's my account with my wife and subscribe. That's kind of silly. But if you see right here, 317 videos. The Blacksmith podcast has been around since May of 2024, and there's 317 videos. So that's not an average of one video a day, but it's not that far behind the average of one video a day. Maybe 0.8, something like that. So there are plenty of videos. Look, I talk about fixing your relationship with money right here. I'm talking about investing in Boxable. Why not investing could be your biggest mistake. Look, here's Robinhood. Here's Vlad and Jason right here, the CEO, the CFO. And then there's shorts. Using your time wisely, be productive, right? Using the rule of three to build yourself up. Not caring about what's going on with the P. Diddy trial. There are videos on here, folks. So if you're not getting the information in a timely manner, first of all, if you're in the Discord, utilize that. Ask questions in investing. If it's about a different topic, use the Forge. Um, but yeah, this is what we're doing over here. We're rocking and rolling. So Palantir went up 8%, $11, almost $12 last week. And funny enough, I should have saved Palantir for last because I actually have the Q&A with Palantir open, which is what you see right here. But since I'm here, let's talk about it. Year to date, they're up. They have doubled year to date. So here's another look. If you would have been in the grass in January and you ran out and jumped on this, you would have caught it by now. The chase would have been on by now. And the chase would have been over by now. You would have caught it. You'd have a mouthful of Palantir. And that sounds weird, but you would. See, it spiked here in January and February, but then tariffs brought it back down. And here it is, April. What is it? April 4th, April 7th, somewhere in there is like the worst day for everybody. But like the Phoenix, it has risen from the ashes. So Palantir is doing, I mean, it's tremendous. Look, 441% in the last year. Palantir is killing it. You're talking about a business that's on pace to it. What's their market cap? I was gonna say they're gonna be $1 trillion company soon. They're gonna be. It's 14% of my portfolio. I am gonna get more shares. I'll probably hold on to this one until they maybe announce a split, and then I'll jump back in. But I'm not gonna be buying at these really high prices. If you see I'm in at $90, that equity is gonna grow and grow and grow. But if they announce a split, which we'll get to in a minute, because somebody asked that in the Q&A, I'm getting ahead of myself. But they're a $362 billion company, but I think this company is going to hit $1 trillion soon. If not this year, definitely next year. I think that's not too lofty for this company. They have come out with the new contracts they have and new business ventures they have. They're gonna blow it away. They're gonna blow it away. They already are. All right. So that's another reason the portfolio has moved. Palantir. But remember, folks, look, the portfolio is only this big. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, out of those 9, Microsoft was free. I don't even have a full share of Microsoft. So out of those 9, let's only count 8. Microsoft is not really in the game. I didn't get any more of it. Too expensive for me. And I'm looking for companies that I can get superb returns from. Not just good returns because it's a good company and been around, superb returns. And I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth. I'm sure Microsoft is doing extremely well. Year to date, 19%. Okay, 17% in the past year. That's phenomenal. That's great because usually companies, 10% is what S&P 500 will get you, right? I just showed you Palantir got 440 something percent. I just showed you, I didn't show you hoods, I don't think. But let's see, year to date for hood, 181%. In the past year, 300 set. See, I want phenomenal returns. I don't just want good returns. So I didn't invest more in Microsoft. So out of those 9, we're going to count 8. Now, out of those 8, only 6 of them are equity stocks. So when you're talking about my return on investment, only 6 of them are really moving the needle. Why? Because Orchid Island Capital is a REIT. It's a real estate investment trust. I didn't buy it for the equity. In fact, I'm down on the equity almost 7%. However, and it's not that much of it's a thumbprint in my portfolio. It's only 8.4%. I got it because of this, the dividend return. Every month, it pays me dividends. And I put in $15 a week. It's not much. I'm going to up this when I get my equity situation figured out. But it's not even a $1 billion market cap, but it's getting close. So I'm not I didn't buy this for the equity return. I bought it for the dividend return. And then I'll show you another one. I had ARR. You might remember Armor Residential REIT. I sold that one. It came out to about $7,100, and I got Misty Yield Max Option Income Strategy ETF, and I just call it Misty. But I put that $7,100 here. Now I'm up on the equity. Don't care. Didn't buy it for the equity. Let me show you what that Misty do. So what that Misty did. Let's see. Where is the? I think because it already paid me. Hold on. History. Here it is. So I bought 20 shares. I'm sorry if you can hear. Look, don't let that sound like a bad thing. That's the sound of pleasure, joy. That's the sound of legacy outside. Don't let that disturb you. Those are my kids. They're out there enjoying the playground set in the backyard. Now, when you hear moose and wolf howling, then I'll know I got to stick my head out the window. But they're fine right now. All right, so Misty, I bought 20 shares at $21.22, right? Cost me a little over $400. And then they paid me a month later $24.76 on 20 shares. That is insane in the membrane. So Orchid Island Capital was only paying me, welcome. Orchid Island Capital was only paying me 12 cents per share per stock, 12 cents per share per month. Misty paid a heck of a lot. They paid me 10 times that much on every one. So I sold Armor Residential REIT, ARR, and I put that $7,100 into Misty, and I'm going to see what that does. And I'll tell you why I did it, because if you look up Misty dividend history, this dividend never drops below $1. So if you go all the way back to April 2024, okay, get off my screen. All right, here we go. It was paying $4 per share. Then the next month, $2, then $3, then $2, then $1.94, $1.85. If you follow it, it's down to $1.2, but it never dropped below $1. So right now, this thing is paying an insane dividend. Look, the dividend yield is 127%, meaning if you had, I asked the chat before if they had $100,000 that somebody gave them, what would they do with it? And a lot of people said they would rush to pay off debt. Remember, poor man's mindset, thinking money is only for paying off debt. Middle class mindset, thinking money is only for buying things. Rich mindset says that money is for making more money. So if you put that $100,000 here, and you multiply this, you move the decimal, so it'll be 1.2727. That's what you would actually earn at the end of a year. If the dividend yield stayed the same, that's what you would have at the end of the year. So let's say I let you borrow $100,000, but I needed it all back at the end of a year. You could literally, if this dividend yield never changed, no matter what it says is paying out per share right here, if the yield stays the same, because it goes up and down based on the price of it. So if the yield stays the same, over the course of 1 year, you would have earned more than the $100,000 you put into the stock. You would have earned more than what you put. So you could give me my $100,000 back. I gave it to you tax-free, so no APR on it, right? You give it back to me, and you would have more than what you borrowed. That's why I put $7,100 into Misty, all right? So we're just going over right now what the stock market did the last week, and we had to, right? Because the stock market was booming last week. I mean, all kinds of gains. So we've covered Hood, NVIDIA, Palantir. Now let's talk about, so again, out of my portfolio, there's a lesson to be learned here. Let me get to it. So I have 9 different stocks, 9 companies I'm investing in, right? But remember, out of those 9, Microsoft doesn't count. Look, it's not even one whole share because they gave it to me for free for just inviting people, right? So out of the 9, only 8 of them count. Out of the 8, only 6 of them are equity stocks, which is what really moves the needle for the full, like the investing part right here. Only 6 of them are equity stocks. 2 of them are big dividend paying, like REITs or index funds or whatever Misty is. It's ETF. I know what it is. I just couldn't think. All right, so the 6 equity stocks: Hood, NVIDIA, Palantir, SoundHound AI, QBTS. That's it. Those are the 6 equity stocks. But I want y'all to understand this. Is I talked to somebody this week at work. One of my sailors was like, they were trying to invest. Several of them approached me this week. They found out, oh, by the way, how y'all liking the red? Yeah, that's right. Get a glimpse of the rojo, you know? Yeah. I had some new shirts come in. I'm going to put another one on order. I just wanted to get this order in first because I placed this a while ago. And I placed it for the event the speaking engagement I had. So I got the shirts in and I sold one this week. And he shot me a picture. Actually, he's in the Discord. He's not on live, but he is in the Discord group. And he shot me a picture of it today. He was wearing it. And so people actually believe in this dream, folks. So if you're on this, ride with me. And no, sir. Okay, see, the chat's being funny. I'm not showcasing the pink at all. But you know what? When the pink comes in, she can showcase that. I mean, I'm just going to let her do it. Who would I be to steal her thunder? But no. So the lesson I want you to learn here, right? I do not have 71 different stocks, different companies that I'm invested in. I don't have 52 different companies because they're all good and I've got an average of 3 shares of each one. I don't have that. No, I have 6 equity stocks, 305 of one, 145 of another one, 128 of another one, 700 of another one. I can't count this because I said it's not equity, but you see it's 1.56 thousand, right? 150 of another one, 250 of another one. Even the stocks that are paying big dividends, 361. I'm not increasing my portfolio to 17 different good companies. I just showed you Microsoft in 1 year had a return of like, what was it, 14%, 17%, somewhere in there. And that's great. That's a great return. A good return is 10% a year. That's what the S&P 500 gets. So anything over that is better than good. So let's call it great. I'm not looking for great. I'm looking for phenomenal. I'm looking for astronomical, and it exists out there, and I'm trying to show you how to do it. But I am trying to teach you something here. Hyper concentration is the way to win. Let's look at what the great, not yet late, 94-year-old Warren Buffett has to say about stock. No, what is it? How does he say it? Portfolio diversification. Let's see what he has to say. All right, so his view on portfolio diversification are nuanced. While he famously stated diversification is protection against ignorance, basically, okay, I'm going to steal his thunder. I was about to explain, but it says it. He acknowledges that for the average investor, diversification can be a valuable risk management tool. And why does he say that? Because if you know Microsoft is a good company, but then you invested in some other company that I'm not going to name because I don't want to get sued. Um, let's say OOO, whatever that ticker is, let's say it doesn't really exist. And it's like a knockoff Oreo brand or something. And you heavily invested in that, but your 3 shares of Microsoft averaged out to what that was in price, and that one was falling, but Microsoft was growing. He's saying you're hedging your bets against, because he said ignorance, right? Ignorance meaning you don't know what you're doing, right? It doesn't mean that you're a fool, which is when people use ignorant, they use it to mean fool. And a fool is likened to stupid, because stupid and dumb are different. When you call someone dumb, that's not good, because dumb is like someone who does not have the capacity or the ability to be smart. In fact, and that's how we use it now, but in the Bible, someone who was dumb meant their tongue didn't work. They couldn't speak. It meant they were mute, right? Um, Famously, this happened to Zacharias, which was John the Baptist's father, until he was born and he wrote on a sign that his name is John, and then the Bible says his tongue was loose. But anyway, dumb versus stupid. Dumb is a person that doesn't have the ability to be smart, right? They don't have the capacity. So this would be like somebody who struggled learning disability or something like that, right? IQ disability. Um, Stupid is a person who has the ability to be smart. They have all the knowledge and they still make the wrong decision, a bad decision. That's stupid. That would be fool. That would be ignorance, the way a lot of people use it. But ignorant just means naive in this sense. If you don't know what you're doing yet, you can hedge your bets buying a good company and a not so good company, because as they decrease, they are increasing. Thus, you're staying the same. You're averaging out. That's what Warren Buffett's talking about. However, let's go further. He goes, Buffett's own portfolio managed by Berkshire Hathaway is heavily concentrated in a few select stocks, reflecting his belief, in-depth knowledge, and conviction in his investments. However, he also recognizes that most investors lack the time, resources, and expertise to make truly informed, concentrated bets. Well, now you do not have to lack, because you have me, the SME, and I'm going to tell thee that ye need to. Okay, I have bars, but it only goes so far. I was going to start stretching. But no, listen, you got me, because I'm going to tell you what I do, right? I look to the future. I have foresight. And I look at who's the greatest in this sector. Who's the greatest that I could follow? Okay, I don't have their money yet. I don't have Scrooge McDuck's vault, if you're old enough to know what I'm talking about. And I'm certainly not going to go diving into coins. That's only Disney, where you don't come up with your eyes lumped up. I think your back would get broken and fused in a couple spots, and then that'd be the end of that. It ain't water. But anyway, I look at what they do and I follow what they do. Hyper concentration you can do. You don't need to have $1 million to buy 200,000 shares. You just need to buy 2 shares. And then when you get enough, or in dollar cost average in every week, $10, that's $520 a year. You could do that, but don't go off and do that on 17 different stocks. If you have enough money to do that on 17 different stocks, 17 times 10 is $170. That means you have enough money to dollar cost average in $170 a week. Well, let's do that. Put it in the 1, put it in the 3, put it in the 5, and then stop. That's what you believe in. That's hyper concentration. Do not go. And I did that when I first started investing. And I learned my lesson. My portfolio was like 20 stocks deep, and I don't do that anymore. So I don't want you guys to do that, because that's a rookie mistake. Your portfolio might be growing, and mine did. It grew from 10,000 to 30,000 by the end of the year. I had 30K December 1st, 2020, right? But I learned my lesson on that, and I was selling them as they were gaining equity to buy other things to where I could concentrate like this. Now, probably the newest ones, other than Misty, this ETF right here, would be these companies. So let's go on. Oh wait, we're missing SoundHound. Let's go to SoundHound. Let's see what that SoundHound do. All right, so SoundHound went up 15%. So don't look at the dollar amount, $1.72. Whoop-de-doo. Now you may say, oh, that's not much. But remember, you've got to multiply that $1.72 times 700 shares. So this is where people's thinking falls short. $1.72 times 700. That means I just made $1,204 off this stock in a week. In a week. See, don't be short-sighted. It's the percentage that matters. 15.5% in 1 week. That's $15.58 if you were talking about $100 total, right? Add a zero if you go up 1,000. Every zero you go up on this side, go up a zero on that side, right? So 15%, that's big, right? SoundHound is moving out, and look, my average is 875. So as it climbs higher than my average, my gains are gonna go up, right? And let's see what it's done since January. It's actually down year to date, 37%. And it's because this had jumped all the way up to like $21. But that's okay. Remember, we went over SoundHound AI. We went over their earnings call. Remember, they did a deal with Lucid for the voice AI. Remember, I don't wear my notes. Oh, my book bag is all the way over there on the other side of the room. But we went over SoundHound AI's earnings call and all the people and companies they were shaking hands with for voice AI. That's what they specialize in, right? And I know Lucid was having trouble moving their cars, so that may spell disaster, or it may not spell disaster for them. The disaster would be Lucid's. It would spell trouble for them because they're just partnered with them for the voice AI. That's it. So they don't take on the whole cost of the car. And Lucid, as you know, is a luxury electric car brand that the head engineer from Tesla left and went over there and either created Lucid or was the reason they were able to get it off the ground. I wouldn't mind having one, but I ain't buying one. Don't even worry about it. And since I'm not going to buy it, I mind having it. So anyway, so the 52-week high is $24.98. So that's why Lucid is down year to date. But 1 year, I guarantee you it's not down. What you want to bet? There it is. 154% in 1 year. And that's taken into account that it's down 37% since January. Look at this. December of 2024. It's at $24 almost. Look at that. That's that 52-week high. It wasn't really, it was a half a year ago if you really think about it. So SoundHound AI is going to return. And when it returns, it's going to return big. Now, right here, I can guarantee you a lot of investors pulled out. That's probably what happened here because, see, it hasn't even been IPO'd but for 4 years, right? So you may have had some of the early investors because it only IPO'd right here. It's looking like 872. Usually they use a round number, but whatever. So right here at $13, you had some investors pull out, but they probably hung on. But no, because, yeah, it was down at $1. So a lot of the investors, they pulled the same move, but they probably bought it back up because they believed in the company. And then when it went up here, oh, you can bet they pulled out. You can bet, bar none, they were out of there. So SoundHound AI is just waiting for this glorious return. All right, let's keep moving. And I'm showing you something here because I'm being very transparent. Like I said before, man, you guys, like when you want to start working out, right? you skinny dudes, right? You want to start working out. You don't know what you don't know. So what do? You go find a fitness channel on YouTube and you tune into that fitness channel and you're like, this guy's gonna get me fit. This guy's big. He's jacked. His traps are blocking his earlobes. Like this guy's got mountain peaks. His chest is sticking out further than his chin. His bicep could crush you and your skull. Like he's crushing melons with his bicep, right? He just puts it in there and you know, okay, but you didn't see him when he was skinny. You don't know what he started from. You weren't paying attention to him. You found him right now. You don't know if he even knows what he's doing. Is he juiced up? You may not care. You're just going to do the workouts he's doing. Well, you can't do them as frequently, as vigorously. You can't do as many reps and sets because the juice will help him heal faster than you. That's how he gets bigger. It's for muscle repair. It doesn't give you strength, so to speak. It helps repair it. It's like you go to sleep and the shoe elves come in and stitch those micro tears in your muscles right back up so you're 100% in a day or two. And they work out 2 times a day, right? So how they got there matters. So I'm showing you guys the process of how we're actually getting to it, all right? Now, I saw that somebody in the chat sent something. Okay, what happened? Oh, okay, here we go. This is about NVIDIA, though, yeah? Okay, that's fine. Oh, SoundHound's on here, too. Let's open this up. See, the chat's undefeated, man, I tell you. Some people's chats. All right, so what happened after December 2024? NVIDIA sold its stake. Oh, in SoundHound AI. NVIDIA, you're showing. Oh, I just want people to try. Oh, okay. I thought you were telling. Okay. That is the other half, the better half, the lighter half, actually. It looked about like this, kind of, sort of. Anyway, let's see. NVIDIA sold its stake. So, okay, $8 million position in SoundHound AI. So that made it fall, right? A 30% plunge in one day. See, the chat's undefeated. This is what I'm talking about, man. Like, see, if you really care and you really want to earn, I'm looking over here at my other screen. The camera's right here. I'm looking straight at you. Look at my eyes. They're brown. Look into my eyes. All right. So then it surged. Yeah, you can read it. You can read it. Just get what I'm saying. This is what happened to them. They're going to be back. And they're going to be back and they're going to be large and in charge. Let's see what the market cap for SoundHound AI is. See, because all this stuff means something. So if you just scroll through and you're just like, you don't know what it means, like the PE ratio is negative. The market cap, $5 billion company. That's nothing to sneeze at, folks. $5 billion company. Yeah, this company's going to be back in a huge way. So I'm just keeping my average low right now. I'm rocking with the 700. I'm going to let that equity run up. And look, it's only a fingerprint. It's only 6.77% of my portfolio. But look at the amount of shares. That's because the equity is low. But once that equity, if it was at $100 right now, this would be a way larger percent of my portfolio. But when it gets there, I'm going to say, I told you so. So hopefully y'all are jumping on now. All right, so QUBT. Now we're getting into the future, right? Because I bought these because I could see the future. Quantum computing is the future. Bar none, that is where computing is going. Quantum computing can compute things faster than, I don't know, than you could really imagine. They've got scientists in a room giving this thing's problems to solve, and it's doing it in record time, but sometimes the accuracy is off, or the accuracy is there, but it's slower than what they imagine, right? Quantum computing is where it's going to be. So AI, quantum computing, if you're not in them, then you're in the now, and that's okay because the now will get you good returns, maybe great returns, right? But if you're in the future, you're going to take what the now is doing and put an exponent on it. If you like it, then you should have put an exponent on it. All right. Anyway, so quantum computing went up 9% in a week. Not bad. Multiply that times 52 weeks. No company's going to sustain that growth. I'm just saying. Well, we say that, but then you saw companies that have 400 and 300% growth in a year. So we say that, but it's not likely to happen. But listen, tech is really pushing the envelope more so than it's ever done. Ever done. Apple was the first $1 trillion company. Apple ain't doing so hot right now. I was invested in Apple. I got out in 2022, I think. I don't know if it was before deployment or during deployment, but I never went back to Apple. I mean, the Apple car was a bust. They worked on it for 10 years. I actually met a guy last week, actually. He's in the Discord and he was talking about that. He worked for Apple and he was talking about, the layoffs, the hiring, they go in cycles and stuff in the tech industry. It always works like that. But they typically don't do a mass layoff like that unless they have a project they worked on and it didn't come to fruition and they scrapped it. So all those engineers and all those people Dunskies. But those people can then take that experience and roll somewhere else. So hopefully, we hope the best for those people. But anyway, look, quantum computing. Let's see what it did since January. Look, 16% since January, and in 1 year, bamsies, that's a percentage, folks. That is a percentage, almost 3,000%. Again, if you are living in the now, good for you. Good for you. But if you're investing in the now, I'm a little scared for you. I'm a little scared for you because if you're investing in the now is always shifting to later every second, right? So if you're investing in the now, I'm a little scared for you. You don't invest in the past. The past sectors that were booming, you may get a 4% return. You're barely beating inflation, right? So I'd be terrified for you if you were investing in the past. If you're investing in the now, just to get your feet wet and learn how to invest, great. But you need to quickly be shifting to the future. And I'm going to tell you this, always be looking towards the future. You can stack your shares in the now, but the future is going to be cheaper to buy now because hardly anybody's got eyes on the future. They're all looking at the now. That's why the now is so expensive. Microsoft has been the now for a lot of years. That's why it's like $400 and something to invest in it. So if you're trying to invest in the now, not only is it going to be more expensive for you, it's going to get you less return than if you were looking towards the future and investing in what the future is going to be. Because look right here, it was pennies on the dollar. It was pennies on the dollar. And this is within a year ago. It was pennies on the dollar. If you would have got in way back here, how much could you have bought for 69 cents? I'll wait. And if you knew it was going to go up to $19.50, would you have borrowed from Nene and them, your son, your daughter, family? Let's just say family, right? Mama, daddy. Would you take a loan? Would you take a loan against your own IRA, your own 401k, your own TSP, your own 403b? What would you have done to get 3,000% return? You know what that could have done to you? Let's don't listen to me. Listen to the calculator, the almighty calculator. So we've got 1950 minus 69 cents, right? That's 1881. What are we thinking? We would have what would we have bought? Let's use a dollar amount. 10 grand, right? So how would we invest 10 grand into it? You would take 10 grand and divide it by 69 cents. You would have had 14,492 shares. That's shares, right? Now, what was it, 1881? Multiply it by $18.81. There you go. You'd be a quarter of the way to $1 million. But see, what you can't do, What you can't do is reverse time. You can't walk through a portal. You can't teleport. You can't move across time zones even. You can't, well, you can on a ship or the airplane or whatever, but you get what I'm saying. You can't move time to your advantage. What you can do is take yourself in the now and forget your vision, your sight, and have some foresight and look to what the future is and catch this before it happens. Boxable was 80 cents, pennies on the dollar, and watch what the future holds for it. Let's just see. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. Sorry, folks, I went bust. But if I'm not, that might be what you're looking at. And that came from $10,000. Look, a $10,000 investment, right? So let's say you borrowed that money from whomever, a $10,000 investment, right? Within 12 months, you have made that back with an exponent on it. I'm just saying. All right, so let's continue. That's why I invested in it. That's what I'm getting at. Quantum computing. And there's some other ones that are out there that I didn't invest in. I mean, you can't have them all. What did I just tell you? Hyper concentration, right? So D wave quantum, same thing. Let's see what it did. 23% in a week. 23%. Now, I show this portfolio all the time. I'm an open book with this stuff because we all need to win together. Either we all get there together or we don't get there. That's not true. I will leave y'all suckers behind if y'all don't want to follow me. I don't have to be a Moses, but I'm going to do it. But I just say suckers. Y'all ain't suckers. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to do it. I'm just trying to help you do it because you have a vision for your family too. I'm just a dude that cares. I was a broke dude at 22 walking around the streets of New York. Nobody was really helping me. They couldn't teach me what they didn't know. So I'm trying to show y'all D-Wave Quantum gained 23% in the past week. Since January, 120%. I bet you it's up more than that if I do a year. What do you want to do? Roll a dice? 1,600% in the past year. Now, where was it? Pennies on a dollar, 98 cents, not even a dollar. You can't go back into the past, but you can look to the future. Always be looking at what the future sectors are. Always do that. Every single quarter. What are the future sectors? What are the master investors talking about? Now, Warren Buffett's a bit too old to be looking at future sectors, right? So maybe not him, but he has the fundamentals down pat. If that guy has a cement foundation that is not cracked, he knows exactly what he's talking about. Now, he did say don't invest in Bitcoin. Now, and this is where I'm saying his age-old ways have kind of caught up to him with some things, Bitcoin and like crypto as a whole. He doesn't like it. And I understand where it's coming from. He's not trying to be malicious. It's just not backed on anything. And the dollar's backed on something, right? Currency is backed on something. So he doesn't understand that piece, but Bitcoin has been the highest returning asset all time. So, I mean, even if he was wrong on that one, and wrong bigly, as our commander-in-chief would say, if he was wrong bigly, guess what? He is still proven. Pound for pound, Warren Buffett at 94 years old, they'll take 10 of him before they take one of me. I mean, the man he's done it. He's been there, done it. He became a billionaire, I think, when he was 56. And he was in the real estate for a while. So if you don't know Warren Buffett, you should probably look him up. He's from Nebraska. But anyway, look at what D-Wave Quantum has done in 1 year. I mean, I'm just saying. So quantum computing went up almost 3,000%. This one went up half of that. A little more than half of that. But still, the returns are insane. So always be looking. What's the other one? QSI? Yeah, Quantum SI. There's a few of these. Let's look at it. I'm not invested in this one. I'm not. The past week, it's up 3%. Since January, it's actually down 36%. But in the past year, it's up 58%. Now, Quantum SI. Now you're looking at it right here, right? So I do have, you see it says options. I have an option on it. I'm up 20%, or no, 19.31 total return. Yeah. Um, so I didn't invest in it when it comes to long-term investing with shares, but I did throw an option call on it. All right. Believe me. Discord, I am working on getting the master option blacksmith on that class. He taught one before. If you were on the call, then you should already have notes. If you didn't see it, peruse the. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Where was the? It's in videos. I think I just passed it. I think I said options or something. No, it was before this. Let me try and find it real quick. He taught it a while ago. It is. That's investing. No. I think this is it right here. This one that says livestock gains. I think this is it. Trading stock. This might be it right here. 9 months, 5 months ago. I think this is it. But if you saw it before, you should have taken notes on it before. But I'm pretty sure that's the one. That's the only one. I think it was maybe half a year ago. Yeah, because 1 month ago we didn't do it a month ago. That's it right there. Um, but he taught a clinic on this. So I'm trying to get him to do it again, but his time is valuable and precious. He just moved to a new state. He just got a new job. Within that new job, he's doing another job, temporarily assigned somewhere else. So he's focused on getting fully qualified at that job. But while he's temporarily assigned, he just bought a new house. His family's over here. He's got a lot on his plate. But I'm going to see if there's some other folks in the investing chat. I'm going to start posting, come one, come all. Who knows about options? Let's get together and talk offline and see what everybody knows. And then let's all cam up, mic up, even if you don't want to cam up, and teach this class to people, because they know they can break it down to the smallest granule. I'm more like, I could break it down to like maybe an orange size, you know what I mean? But I can jump in and add more context on certain things. I can expound. But that's what's moving the needle in my portfolio, folks. And so you see it here first. You see the growth. Now, the next thing I want to, hey, Chad, if you have any questions, as always, you can go ahead and ask. Feel free. Um, so Palantir, right? I'm not going to take too much time going over this, but Palantir, the one you already just saw, let's go back to it, is shaking and baking. So Palantir, I forget what their 1 week was, 8%, but since January, they've doubled. 1 year, they're 444%, 441. So now that you know that, now that we've got re-inundated with Palantir, now you can see for their earnings call Q2, you got 15 days left to ask a question or peruse through here and upvote. And if you're in this Discord, please get in there. Either ask your question by now. With 527 questions asked, you can almost guarantee your question, if you have one for them, is going to be asked. Just don't ask it again. Peruse through here and upvote the ones that already ask it so we can get that question asked. So you can see here, Jack K, a retail shareholder, asks, is Palantir considering a stock split? I'd be very interested on whether they're going to stock split. If they hit 200 and say a 10-for-1 stock split, oh my God, I'd be on it, because that means each share is going to be $20 a piece, right? They probably wouldn't do it. They might do a two to one or 2-for-1. And if they do that, then it's going to drop back down to $100. If they do a 3-to-1, now you're looking at 33 dollars. So it just goes down from there. So I'd be very interested in the stock split. This guy, Thomas L., a retail shareholder, asked, what is Palantir doing to keep continuing growth for the next coming years? Now that I'd be very interested to know. Now we already know because I did a video on Palantir not too long ago. I think it was their earning call Q1, where they talked about signing new contracts with the government and all the deals, all the hands they're shaking, all the babies they're kissing. They talked about that in their Q1 earnings. However, what is this guy doing? Thomas L., congratulations. That's why I said it has an upvote right there for me, because he's looking towards the future of the company. And see, the reason why I'm heavily invested with Robinhood, and I'm going to be even more heavily invested with Palantir, is because they are companies that are always looking towards the future, innovations, right? Not just what you're doing today, not what you've done in the past, because that legacy is not going to get you very far. Nike's having a tough time, right? Let me not just talk stuff. Let me see. Come on. Duplicate. Give me Nike. Give me victory. That's what Nike means, if y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't know the story. Nike's down. It's negligible, but they're down. Since January, they're down 5%. And there it is. They're exactly even 1 year. Year over year, they're exactly even. See that? Nike's having some trouble, folks. Why do you think that is? Probably a lack of leadership, a lack of innovation. They got 77,000 employees. There's their CEO, Elliot J. Hill. They're from Beaverton, Oregon. That's funny. But look, they're a $100 billion company. They pay a 2% dividend. PE ratio, 52-week highs, $90, 52-week lows, 52. Nike's having some trouble. And so this is what I'm saying. The legacy is not going to get you very far, but looking towards the future will get you very far. This is why I upvoted Thomas L. All right, so Brandon M. says, explain what Palantir does and why it will continue to be a stock to own. I can't believe for the life of me, this damn thing has 1.3K votes. Dude, let me help you out, okay? What was his name? Brandon M. Let me help you out. This tells what they do. This tells what Palantir does. This will tell even more. And I bet you, should you click this link for their website, this will tell you what they do. I bet you there's any number of YouTube videos of people talking about what Palantir does, and they probably have videos of the CFO and CEO or people in their chain of command doing TED Talks or whatever conferences talking about what they do. I will not upvote that. That's ridiculous to me. All right. Christopher M. says, will dividends become an option for shareholders in the future? I'm not worried about dividends. Let me tell you why. Dividends is a way to attract new investors, right? I bet you anything that with 444% growth in the past 12 months, they don't have that problem. I bet you anything since January, doubling what they were, they don't have that problem, attracting new investors. If you're not attracted to the equity gains in Palantir and you need a dividend, put your peepers elsewhere. Look elsewhere. That's ridiculous. $362 billion. And remember, this company hasn't even been IPO'd that long. September 30th, 2020. They're not even been around for 5 years. They IPO'd at $10. Imagine if you could go back that far. How much would you put into Palantir? Don't even tell me. Well, go ahead, tell me. But remember, there's another company that's Palantir right now at that level or below it. I just showed you one that was QSI was like $1 something, I think, right? But anyway, they don't have trouble investing in what am I trying to say? Getting new investors. They don't have trouble doing that, right? So I don't care about the dividend. I'm worried more about the equity, right? So if you're, and let me explain. So like if you're having trouble, if you're plateauing, your share price is plateauing, sometimes you introduce the dividend to bring new investors to get yourself over the hump, right? They do not have that problem. They won't have that problem for a long time. All right, so Brandon B says, what does the future look like for Palantir's commercial sector outside of government and defense? So this is a guy who's done his homework. He knows what Palantir does because they do a lot of contracts with the government and defense, right? So he's done his homework. He says, will that include Amazon and CoreWeave? CoreWeave, if you didn't know, just IPO recently, and CoreWeave is tearing it up. And I think I was in for like 30 shares on CoreWeave, and I pulled my IPO at the last second. Look at that. Oh. See, year to date, look at that. March 28th. IPO'd at $40. I think I was in for 30 shares. Look at where that price sits now. See, you always have to be looking at the future. And I pulled my investment 200%. I'd have quadrupled my money. But anyway, so he's asking about specific companies. He didn't ask a nebulous question and say, he could have just left it at the first question, but he wants to know specifically Amazon and CoreWeave. Let's look at Amazon. So they're at 226 the past week. They're up 0.5%-ish since January, almost 2%. Year over year, 25% almost. That's not bad at all. That's great. That's great growth right there. I used to be invested in Amazon. I think I got out in 2022. Them and Apple, I think they both split around the same, maybe in the same year. And I got out before then. So I was kind of teed off, but I learned from my mistakes. So it's not a failure. I learned. All right, Alicia A says, I upvoted that one, by the way, because that was a very good question. Alicia A says, what contract do you see Palantir closing in 12 months' time? I didn't upvote that one. And I see a lot of people didn't. It only has 5, but it doesn't tell you when she asked. So I don't know. But I didn't upvote this one because I'm sure they're going to talk about different contracts they're closing already because it's an earnings report. So they have to tell you stuff like that. So maybe, I don't know, maybe Alicia A is not used to earnings reports. That does not seem like a question from a seasoned investor. So I don't care about asking that specifically because they're probably already going to tell you that it's an earnings report. He's going to say, well, we've earned $1.2 billion from contracts that we've closed with A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we've earned $20 billion from, you get what I'm saying? The defense sector, we did this and that. And so they're going to talk about that. So not too concerned. Now, how do coming tariffs, William H., a retail investor, affect profits next quarter? I'm interested in hearing that. If they announce tariffs again, I'm interested in hearing it, but I know that's not going to defeat the company because this company does a lot of deals with our government. So they're kind of hedged against tariffs. Not that tariffs didn't hit it hard. However, this company's not going anywhere. So you can put those heavy tariffs on it. And I'll tell you exactly what you should do. Here we go. I got you right here. You want to know? Where are we at? It wasn't that long ago. April 4th, right? It's always April 4th. Getting that dip. All right. April 4th. So if the stock pulls back here again, all you folks that are like lions watching this gazelle bounce around, look, hop, 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 hop. Look at this gazelle hopping, 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 jumping, bouncing around, right? All you lions that are in the grass, waiting with your head down because you can't afford to be seen, that's what you jump out, you grab it right there. That's what you do. So if tariffs get it, you jump out and grab it. That's what you do. I go live and we'll be on here and I'll be like, push buy right now. That's what I would do. But I am still interested because of that. As you can see, and this is not a flex, we got some buying power here, right? I'm saving that because if they go whoop, I'm going pounce. Claws and teeth out. All right, so Jamie Z, what level of transparency does Palantir offer to the public when its tools are used in domestic surveillance, especially by government, by federal agents? Okay, this one I'm interested in from a personal standpoint. I think this is very important, right? So this company does kind of specialize in like spying and drones and things of that nature, surveillance, right? I want to know, are you going to be using those weapons or those tools against us as normal everyday citizens? I'm just interested in that because if they announce, oh yeah, we're going to have by the year 2030, there's going to be a drone assigned to every neighborhood to watch you, yeah, that's probably going to drop the share price. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's kind of ludicrous, but you never know. I'm just saying that would drop the share price because people don't want folks spying on their privacy, even though these flat screen TV size supercomputers that we all carry, this is a droid, by the way, they all have spyware on them. They all all these programs, even the games you play, will have access to your contacts and stuff like that, and they all do it for a reason. So while we're being entertained, we're also being spied on. So, but I just want to know. So I upvoted that. Now, Moshe C, I'm guessing is how you say that, a retail investor. Will Palantir continue to grow at this pace or faster? That's an asinine question. How would they know? Yes, dude, yes. Do you see a reason for them to slow down? That would be my counter question, right? That would be my counter question. That doesn't sound like it's from a seasoned investor. How could they tell you if the stock's going to continue to grow like this? They're going to continue to perform like that is what he's going to tell you. And so use that however you will, right? That's probably what he's going to hear, right? I don't want to call a guy stupid for asking, but it's nothing I would have asked. But I'm not everybody, so whatever. Let me be nice. All right, so we got a couple more here. So Raymond C says, can you share insights on the pipeline for new government contracts, particularly with agencies like the Department of Defense or international partners, and how these align with Palantir's long-term growth outlook? Oh yes, my man just went smack. My man went Babe Ruth, pointing with the bat, drew back, and just slapped one out of the park. That is a phenomenal question. Why? Why should you be excited about that question? Because he just asked them to share insights on the pipeline. So not new contracts, no, how they acquire, what the process is. So like, okay, let's say you just graduated high school and you want to be an engineer. Go to Michigan. Michigan is an engineering mastermind school, right? It is a master engineering school, and Michigan has a pipeline into GM, General Motors, right? Michigan, when they have their graduates, when their students are in school, they let you start interning. They have a pipeline to get new, fresh idea having engineers into General Motors because General Motors is there. So what does that mean? He just asked about the pipeline, the process of how they do it, and the future and the long-term growth outlook. That is a question worth asking. People need to upvote that question. That's my opinion, but I'm just saying they need to upvote that because they can't get to all of these questions. Don't even start me to lion. Why? A retail investor asked, while Palantir has long been associated with military and defense projects, what's the company's long-term strategic vision for growth? in commercial or civilian sectors? What industries or applications are you prioritizing? So the reason why I love this question, he obviously, or why, has done their homework, right? And said long been associated with military and defense projects. That is correct, right? Obviously have done their homework. What's the company's long-term strategic vision for growth in the commercial or civilian sectors? So he's saying, okay, we know your tree has sprouted up. It looks like bamboo, right? Chinese bamboo for like the first 4 years grows like 1 inch, but it grows like 79 feet in the fifth year. That's what Palantir just did, right? But bamboo is very skinny and but it's very strong, right? You whack somebody half strength with Chinese bamboo, they're gonna come out with their eyes lumped. Chinese bamboo, very strong, right? However, what he's asking, you did all that growth from this one sector, one root in the ground, one strong root in the ground, right? I'm asking, are you placing commercial root, civilian root that's gonna widen your tree trunk out? That's what he's asking. That is a phenomenal question. What other sectors are you going to capture? So let's see. I skipped this one with 41% of revenues from 3 government contracts. How can Palantir insulate itself from policy shifts? Well, they're already in the government. They're already every single day looking at new policies. Obviously, they're going to insulate themselves from policy shifts. Not a bad question on this one. Just, yeah, that's not a bad question. I'm not going to upvote it though. Patrick S., greetings. If there's a change in the political party in the White House in 2028, what will cause an overly negative impact on your business overall? Okay, so not a bad question on this one either. I'm not going to upvote it, and I'll tell you why. A shift in the White House still means, it doesn't mean that Palantir isn't looking to win. Their goal is still going to be the same, right? The goal is not going to shift. So what they're going to do is they're going to get in there in the White House and kiss knuckles or do whatever they have to do to make sure their vision still continues. Blue or red, they're purple. Just like me. I'm wearing red, but me politically, I'm purple because money's green. Robin Hood's also green. I love it. So I'm not upvoting it, but I don't think it's the best question, but it's not a terrible question. And Raymond C., this is the last one I upvoted. With increasing competition in the AI and data analytics space, how is Palantir differentiating its AI platform from competitors? And are there specific use cases or partnerships that highlights its unique value proposition? Excellent question, actually. He's talking about he knows that there's competition in these spaces. So what are they doing to shore themselves up or throw counter punches and make sure they don't get knocked out by the competition in space? Because AI is still the future. It's becoming more of the right now, but it's still not there yet, right? AI is still the future. It's changing so drastically every day. There hasn't been, when you see hardcore legislation that is sealed and signed and it's cemented processes and all that stuff, that means AI is the right now. So there's already something else that's the future, right? There hasn't been that for AI. Crypto, you're still early on crypto if you really want to know, because where's the hard legislation when it comes to crypto, right? Where's the hard backing on something for crypto? Where is, this is how you do taxes with crypto and it's widely available for everybody. Crypto, you're still early. Believe it or not, you're still early. When Bitcoin was like $5,000, people were like, oh, you're too late. When it was 500, they were too late. You laugh at that now if you knew what Bitcoin was at right now. So you're still early on crypto. So think about that. That is an excellent question. Doesn't have too many votes. But then again, you got to understand, people are coming in here asking just questions that's off the wall. Like, when will Palantir stock split? Didn't they ask that up there? I think they already did, right? Yeah, the first question on here, 2.5 thousand votes. It was Palantir stock split. And this is exactly what I'm saying. Now, I don't know who asked it first, but I'm guessing the one that caught wind first was probably asked first. Um, I'm just guessing, and it's at the top of the list. I don't know that they're not in sequential order because this one right here, um, and it's by name or by vote. It's not in sequential order. So I don't know. So Jamie Z, I think they already asked one. Does it believe it bears any responsibility when its platforms are used to violate civil rights? They're not. They ain't trying to get into nothing ugly on an earnings call, sir. You got the wrong one. Go to a rally or a protest. I don't know. And then let's go over this last one. Are there any plans so far to collaborate with Adderall on their air-to-air UAVs? I would be interested in that. Adderall's still a private company. That's not a bad question, but out of all of the ones that I see upvoted, I'm not going to get on that one. All right, folks. If there are no questions, the Forge is going to go cold. I want you to have a great week. We're at an hour and a half right now. I actually have a family downstairs, so I'm not being the best host, but my other half is down there getting it, so we're good. I will let you know when I'm getting more shirts in. I will let you know if there's any more colors. I will also let you know when we can get that master options class out here. But listen, I want you to do this, okay? Do us a favor. Make sure you phone a friend, you invite somebody. Make sure when that options class comes up, all these folks in this Discord that are on here are in here. Make sure you tell people, get them in here, because we're going to put on a clinic. And so it may go longer than an hour, but we're going to put on a clinic. Do us a favor, bring people. All right? All right, folks, the Forge is going cold. Thank you. I pray that you have a safe week, and I will see you next Saturday.